order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Welcome, everyone. So nice to have you here on what is, I guess, our first cooler-ish day. Thank you. We will start with an invocation, and tonight we have with us Brian Weaver from Peace Lutheran Church.
Thank you. As a pastor of a Christian church, this will be a Christian prayer and invocation, but I invite you, as you feel comfortable and able, to pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with grateful hearts for the opportunity to serve the children and the families of this great school district. You ultimately are the source of all wisdom and truth, and we ask for your guidance in all that we do. As your word reminds us in James 1, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. So I ask, Lord, for the wisdom of our educators, our administrators, for this board and its members. Help them to lead with clarity and with compassion and with courage. May each of us be reminded that our work is not done in vain. As Paul said in Colossians, whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, for you are serving the Lord Christ. Let this truth shape our decisions and our service tonight. We ask that you continue to bless our students and our families with curiosity, with perseverance. Give our teachers strength and joy in their service, and unite our community in your peace. And may all that we do reflect your love, and bring glory to your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Weaver. Next up for our Pledge of Allegiance, we have two students from Donna Park Elementary, Quinn Peoples and Walter Peoples. Come on up. Get us started right here. Face the flag.
I got you. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, boys. Stay right here for a minute.
And while Ms. Cole gives you your certificates of appreciation, let everybody in the room let them know a little bit more about you from the people that know you all best. So this is Quinn and Walter Peoples. They're twins at Donna Park who love life but experience it differently. Quinn, raise your hand. There you go. Quinn is all about the arts. He takes piano lessons, has signed up for choir at Donna Park, and wants to participate in the school play. His favorite subject is science, and he wants to be an astronomer or maybe a cake maker when he grows up. Donna Park is his home away from home. And Walter, raise your hand. There you go. Walter is working his way to be a junior black belt at Legends Martial Arts. He loves math and wants to be in the military, more specifically in the Marine Corps when he grows up. He absolutely loves Donna Park, and it is his home away from home as well.
Good job, guys. Thank you. Okay, so tonight the Board of Trustees is meeting in its regularly scheduled monthly meeting to officially act on the items included in the posted agenda. The board welcomes and values input from the community. A single open forum will be provided during tonight's meeting to allow the public an opportunity to address the board. During this time, individuals may share comments or requests related to both agenda and non-agenda items. Those addressing the board are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes per meeting. The speaker should identify their name, group affiliation, if any, and make a brief presentation with an identified solution if one is sought. Remarks should be addressed to the board as a whole. Oral presentations may not include charges against an employee or board member by name. It's my responsibility to determine if a person addressing the board has attempted to resolve a concern informally or through the district's complaint policy, and if not, the speaker may be directed to follow the appropriate policy. The board requests that all presentations be made in a courteous, respectful, and professional manner and asks that speakers monitor their own behavior. If you wish to speak during the open forum, please fill out one of the cards located on the table in the entry hall, right out there. All right, so first we're going to go over our board activity chart, where each board member has an opportunity to talk about some of the things that they've participated in. We'll start with Mr. Cargile.
Well, I think most people know that I live close to Bell High School. So I got this call that a lady, Andy Garcia, we all know, said, since you live so close to Bell High School, could we build a float at your house so we don't have so far to drive? And I'm thinking, yeah, that's okay. So Sunday night, they knock on my door. I'm thinking, the parade's on Monday. Why are they knocking on my door on Sunday? Well, they come in and blow up over 300 balloons in my living room. I watched the Sunday night football game in silence. So the best thing, being a former administrator, the next day, at least 14 parents show up at my house with a flatbed truck and spent 4 hours putting all those balloons on that float. And by the way, I think Julie saw it, they won the contest. So it was interesting that if you walked in my house, you didn't see a living room. You just saw over 300, almost 400 balloons in my house. So even though I'm a Trinity person, I did help the Bell Parade.
There you go, Andy. Good job. Dr. Began.
Like most of us this week, we had the pleasure of engaging in the homecoming festivities for Trinity High School. Ms. Cole and Ms. Ewert and I were able to ride in the parade for Trinity. It was fantastic. The outpouring was amazing. And then, of course, we got to enjoy the kind of cap off of everything on Friday night when Trinity played a really nice game of football.
Mr. Campos.
You know, during this season, we get to participate in a lot of activities. But one of the things I think that's great being a board member is that we get to cheer our kids. On Saturday, me and the wife went and watched Nate Bargatze, who is, at the moment, the most popular comedian. And he was in the Guinness Book of World Records on Saturday at 3 p.m. for selling out the American Airlines Center. And when you're a comedian, you have people that open for you. And on his second opener, this gentleman walks up to the podium and he says, "I'm so glad to be back in Texas. I'm a product of HEB and a graduate of Trinity High School." His name was Justin Chafin. And the whole stadium erupted in cheer. And I turned to a total stranger and said, "Yeah, that's my district."
Mr. Brown.
No report.
Stewart?
That's actually humorous because I saw him too, and I heard him mention Trinity and Bell, and I was like, I never could find him in an annual, so I was looking for him. Yeah. Great activities for homecoming. I went to the pep rally on Friday at Trinity, and it was awesome. It was kind of bittersweet because it probably is the last pep rally we'll have in that gymnasium, and it was, like I said, a little bittersweet, but it was fun. On Saturday, they had tours for anybody that wanted to go at Trinity, and there was a huge crowd at Trinity High School on Saturday, and that was fun. So I got to participate in that also and see some of my former students, and that was a blast.
So I will just mention a couple of things that haven't been mentioned yet. The district leadership has been working very hard over the last several weeks to educate the community on the Vader election that is on the ballot. If you don't know, early voting started today, and there's some important things on there that you all should know about. Local elections matter more than any other election. So please get out there and vote. The other thing that I wanted to mention was we held our inaugural session of the senior ambassadors. So we have board ambassadors and we have student ambassadors, and now we have senior ambassadors for our senior citizens in this community to learn more about HBISD and how they can become some of our biggest cheerleaders. So at that session a couple of weeks ago, I presented what is the work of the school board to those 15-ish participants in that event. And I wanted to say a special thanks to Deanne Hollander and her team. And I don't want to forget on those Vader informational meetings, Dr. Harrington, Dr. Johnson, and Mr. Williams, and a whole host of other folks have worked really, really hard on that. And I just want to say thank you for that. So, Dr. Harrington, do you have anything to add?
Just one thing, the October is referred to, especially in the fine arts world, as Bandtober. And Bandtober will be concluding this coming weekend with the UIL marching contest, and both Trinity and Bell will be marching on Saturday. So we wish them both luck as they're looking for a spot in the state finals.
Any clarifications necessary?
None at this time.
Okay. So that takes us to awards and presentations. 4.01 is the student ambassador introduction. So you may have noticed when you walked in, there were two lovely young ladies assisting you as you came in. These students are part of the HBISD Student Ambassador Program, which is a select group of students chosen through an application and interview process to be the face of the district. They are trained to assist with public relations and community services and are given the opportunity to positively promote HBISD while developing leadership skills of their own. Tonight we have Yusinta, Abdulmal, sorry.
It's okay.
You're going to have to...
It's
help me
Justina
out.
Abdul Malik. It's okay. You're
Thank
good.
you. And you're a senior at LD Bell?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then we have Sophia Mian, a junior at Trinity. So we, as a board, we use the opportunity of having them here to greet all of our guests, to hear the voice of the district students by asking the ambassadors a question. So this month, we want to know. Last week, HBISD students had 2 extra days off on Monday and Tuesday. Teachers were off on Monday, but then on Tuesday they participated in professional development. If you had to choose a professional development training for teachers, what would it be, and how do you think that would benefit HBISD?
Okay. So I believe that on the teachers' professional development day, they should be trained on identifying the early indicators of academic burnout throughout their students, because some students are just too afraid to confide in their teachers whenever they need help emotionally or academically. And I feel like if teachers reached out first, they would be a little more comfortable in confiding in their teachers. And some early indicators can include missed deadlines from a student who rarely misses them, a significant drop in their grades from a top performer, and a lack of engagement or participation in class, which can lead to disassociation and other flaws in their future academic careers. And overall, I believe that HBISD should sponsor these programs and trainings for our teachers, because it'll just strengthen our students and help their mental health and overall.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I think if I had to choose a professional development training for teachers, to me, it would be collaboration across different departments within. Because it's commonly seen where teachers within the same department, for example, English teacher coming together and discussing future plans. However, what's uncommonly seen is that teachers across different departments, such as the English, math, and history, coming together and discussing their plans. And I think it's important for that, because when they come together and collaborate, they're able to express their ideas, but they're also able to gain new ideas or different perspective from different teachers. They're able to also gain new insight, and most importantly, they're also able to see what the other teachers have or what they're implementing in their classrooms, and they could take something and implement in their classroom, or they could give feedback to that, and I think feedback is what's important. And coming together, collaborating, they're able to see the schedule for the students. They're able to see if there's any major deadlines that are overlapping or conflicting with each other. And teachers then are able to ensure that these deadlines are still giving students enough time to put their best work forward. And I think that's important, because through collaboration,
it truly does affect HEB schools, because not only does it make education or the learning experience better for both teachers and students, but it also improves everything in the school. Teachers gain something new, whether it's improving or even growing, so they could improve their communication skills, teamwork skills, and collaboration, but also the students are not overwhelmed with major deadlines that are conflicting with each other, which ensures that students are also able to put their best work forward. Yeah, thank you.
You can see why this board is so proud of this program and these students that are a part of this program. Thank you, ladies. 4.02 is National Merit Semifinalist and Commended Scholars, and we have Cheryl Harris here to make those introductions. I just realized my microphone was on.
Good evening. Tonight we are honoring LD Bell and Trinity High School seniors who have been recognized through the National Merit Scholarship Program. Currently, over 1.3 million students in about 20,000 high schools enter the National Merit Scholarship Program each year. This program awards recognition to students based on their exceptional scores on the PSAT and MSQT. Only approximately 16,000 U.S. high school students, representing less than 1% of the nation's high school graduating seniors, earn the distinction of being named a National Merit semifinalist. The National Merit semifinalists from LD Bell are Pragyan Dal, and Jackson Smart. And the National Merit semifinalist from Trinity High School is Harsh Patel. $34,000 U.S. high school students receive recognition as a commended student. The National Merit Commended students from LD Bell are Nathaniel Zimmerman, and Lillian Thompson. The National Merit Commended students from Trinity High School are Manzur Awad, Benjamin Green, Arian Hossein, Kyle Israel, Parth Joshi, Eunice Kim. Daniel Lopez. Not present tonight, John Milikangas. And Taylor Nguyen. Vincent Sines. And Ledger Thigpen. Let's give these scholars one more round of applause.
Now, before you all take off, I just want to, on behalf of the board, say how proud of you we are. This is a big deal. And it will open up, hopefully, some doors for you that you might not have thought were open. Some of you have been sort of planning for this for a while, but I want you to think bigger than you've thought before, now that you have this piece of paper in your hand and you've earned this, because there might be something that comes to you that you never dreamed of, and you'll have the opportunity to do whatever you want to next if you play your cards right here. So. All right, next up we have Ms. Rhodes and Ms. Clark.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good.
You can just leave the paper right there. Yeah, okay, perfect. A second to get out.
Okay.
Go. Y'all ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Mrs. Rhodes and I just want to take a moment this evening to recognize our hardworking principals. We're both very proud of them.
Okay, but wait, they're about to leave the room, so principals, stay put for a second.
Yeah, don't run off just yet. Okay. So October is National Principals Month, a time to honor and recognize the incredible leadership of our campus principals. Each day, our principals balance the demands of instruction, operations, and community partnership, always with students at the center of their work. Their dedication ensures that every child has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive in our district.
And on behalf of our district, we'd like to thank our principals for their vision, their resilience, and their unwavering commitment to serving students, staff, and families. Their leadership is essential to the success of our schools and our heart of our district. We'd like to honor you today. Thank you.
I often say that the administrators in HBISD are the hardest working people in this community, and that includes every one of you, and we thank you very much. Okay, so next up we have certificates of appreciation. I'm just going to go ahead and read this from here. First, we have before the board members pass these out, I want to say thank you to the community. It's imperative in the state of Texas public education that we have not only volunteers that support our schools, but also financial support for our schools. And tonight's grand total of donations to HBISD is $22,500. So first, we have Board Member Campos to present a certificate to Bell Flight for the National Junior ROTC program. It's a $15,000 donation to be used to purchase tools and uniforms needed to ensure junior ROTC students are successful, and Dr. Johnson will accept the certificate of appreciation, whether he knows it or not.
Congrats.
And both of you just stay right there because there's another one. This is a donation from Texas Trust Foundation to the Junior ROTC program of $5,000 to purchase uniforms to start the Navy Defense Cadet Corps. Next up, we have Board Member Chris Brown has a certificate for Momentous Wealth Management to Family Engagement and Special Education and ESL Bilingual Dual Languages. This is a $2,500 donation to be used to support multiple departments. $1,000 of it for family engagement to fund McKinney-Vento students' initiatives, and $1,500 to celebrate district staff for family engagement, special education, ESL dual languages. And we have Marie Becker and Henri Butler here to accept. Also, Keith Church.
Thank you.
Do we have anything for open forum? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Jeremy Nightingale, thank you.
Sorry, my writing is.
That's okay. You're up first. Come on up. You have 3 minutes, and you'll be given a timer on the board.
All right, well, thank you very much. I'm not as eloquent as the wonderful ambassadors that you have here, but I just wanted to bring something to the board's attention that's very close to my heart, because I have a special needs child. I've already talked to Superintendent Harrington about this, and I apologize, I'm a first name person, so Renee, who runs that department, we've had a good long chat. It's been very positive, and I'd like to provide my support there in anywhere I can. But what I've noticed over the last 3 years of being in the FOSSI program is that the class sizes have grown or are at a size that does not allow for, honestly, FAPE to really occur as it should. And occasionally, depending on the makeup of the class and the teacher, the environment in those classes gets to a point where it's not appropriate for the children, might actually be harmful. My son actually suffered a bit last year through that, because when you put 15 special ed kids into the same classroom, there's a lot of environmental disruption and noise that occurs with that. So allowing the classes to get to that size is problematic. And some of that is forecasting, which I've talked to Renee that I'd be willing to help with that, because both my wife and I come from backgrounds that would allow to improvement in forecasting. But I think the end result is at some point Renee is going to come to you and say we need more teachers. And with the VEDA coming up and everything, I wanted to make sure that you're aware that this is a problem, multiple classes that I've seen. So The other effect is that with classes being of this size, it puts a great strain on the teachers themselves, and I think that you might get attrition that you don't want as a result of that. And having spoken to a number of teachers and the assistants, that's also a potential problem. So I will work with Renee as much as I can, but I wanted to make you, the board, aware of this as an issue, as as she brings it up to you. So that is all. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So pursuant to Texas Opens Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, 071, 072, 074, and 076, the board will now adjourn into closed session. Okay, the board will reconvene into open session, and we will move to action item number 9.01. This action item has been rendered unnecessary by an employee action, so no further board action is needed. We'll move to consent items. 10.1 is motion to approve consent agenda items. Is there anyone that has something to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Please vote. That motion passes. Then we go to reports and presentations, disbursements for the month of September 2025. Does anyone have any questions on that? 11.02 is employments, resignations, and retirements. Any questions on that? 11.03 is Circle Progress Monitoring Pre-Kindergarten Beginning of the Year Report. Dr. Norgard.
Any questions on that? All right, I am here with my first of two reports for you this evening, so I hope you're comfortable. We're going to talk first about Circle Progress Monitoring. That is this is our beginning of year data for our pre-K students, so it's aligned to our strategic plan in our area of early literacy and numeracy. Just some reminders as we look at different tests. Last year was the first year we started bringing these test results to the board. We have given this assessment for many years, but we started including it in our strategic plan updates. So the results in this case, we're talking about the percent of students that are meeting score targets, and those are based on age. When we get into older grades and we talk about MAP and there are norms, the norms are based on grade. When we're talking about 4-year-olds, someone who turned 4 last January and someone who turned 4 right before the start of the year, not all 4-year-olds are the same. We've just barely moved past the part where we were counting their age in months, so it is based on their age, including years and months, and we're really talking about 2 areas of on track or needs support. So I'm going to be giving you the percent of our students that are on track in these areas. There are a couple of different areas. Last year, since it was the first time I brought this report, I gave you lots of examples of what this test really looks like, but some are some observations and some are direct assessments where the teacher is sitting with each student and asking them some questions and tracking their responses. So when we look at the observation-based assessments, we see that actually we have very consistent performance, which actually speaks volumes because this year's 4-year-olds do not look like last year's 4-year-olds, which do not look like the year before that. We are continuing to see challenges that we have not encountered in pre-K before. The number of our students that we are still working not just with these skills, but potty training skills and other, socially appropriate behaviors. So given all of those considerations and where a lot of time and energy is going, the fact that we have fairly consistent performance is actually an indicator of everything that's happening in our pre-K program. And again, very small fluctuations in our direct assessments in the rapid letter naming, their vocabulary, and the overall math skills. Beyond that, just those tests, we also need to look at our 6 dual language classrooms. We track just one area of assessment in both English and Spanish. As you remember, when we started
moving from the late exit bilingual model to dual. With late exit bilingual, we introduce more English and we have less Spanish. With dual, we want to maintain that first language, that Spanish, and just add the English to it. So we want to be monitoring along the way. So this is beginning of year. This is what we see is our pre-K students testing in Spanish for rapid vocabulary. 63% are on track. And giving that same test in English, 11% are on track. What we want to see as we move through this year, we want Spanish to maintain and our English to increase. So we'll revisit this at middle and end of year. Do you have any questions about pre-K?
No.
All right.
Okay. So that takes us to 11:04, early literacy, beginning of year report.
All right. So these were lined up in this order for a reason, because we've just moved from pre-K into our kinder, first, and second grade for early literacy. So strategic plan alignment is still in the area of early literacy and numeracy, just with these next band of primary grades. Some reminders. So DIBELS, we've got the whole acronym there, Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. And Lectura in Spanish are the two tests that we're reporting on tonight. Wanted to give you a reminder that BAS and SEL that used to be given in companionship with DIBELS and Lectura, we are no longer administering. I gave you the MAP growth reading MOI report that we're using that data paired with our DIBELS and Lectura now. And another change for this year is we now have the classroom teacher administering DIBELS and Lectura to their own students. We have previously used cadres that would come in and do the testing, and so that was an adjustment to our administration this year as well. So when we look at our year-to-year trend data, so these are different groups of kindergartners. They're kindergarten, they come into us, and we see where they are, and so that we're ready to, take their data and move forward. So we do sometimes see fluctuations here, but this is our starting point for our kindergartners. Can't talk a lot about our cohort trend data because we just got them. They're our kindergartners. So at middle of year, I will add the trend line where we look from beginning to middle of year. However, something new I'm bringing for you this year. We actually did have several of them. 54% of this year's kindergartners were with us for pre-K last year. So when we think about the circle data that we were just looking at, okay, there's some alignment there. They didn't take DIBELS, but let's see what was happening with those students that have now come to us. So 54% were with us. The other 46%, we don't know if they were in private pre-K, a church-based pre-K, if they were just at home. We don't know. That part is unknown, but for 54% of them, they were with us. And so the students that did attend HEB pre-K, when you look at the ones on track at BOI and DIBELS, 60% of the students that were with us in pre-K are on track for the proficiency goal. But those that did not, only 42% of those are meeting our proficiency goals. So we do see a difference when we get them and we can hang on to them. So as we continue to see that growing pre-K enrollment, it doesn't just make a difference in pre-K, it's then how they come into us for kindergarten. So first grade, we can see some fluctuation in the data. Again, these are different groups of students. So we want to look at these students compared to how this group of students did when they were in kindergarten. So you see that little bit of summer slide. The darker green is DIBELS, our students testing in English. The lighter green were our students testing in Spanish. When we look at their second grade performance, we do tend to see more fluctuation on the Spanish side, smaller number of students testing. In that group, we see a little more fluctuation. But when we look at this group of students, so we now have their kinder and first grade data, and now they're with us as second graders. And we have this very interesting pattern that has happened. They're tightening up compared to each other, but they have shifted. It's like watching a dot race at the Rangers game. Oh, red's in the lead, now green. So this is the first time I have seen this many exchanges between English and Spanish in a row, but it is kind of that interval is closing back up as they exchange those positions. So dual language, we do have dual language now moving up pre-K through grade 2. So both our circle and all three of the grades that we would have administered DIBELS and Lectura So for those students, we want to look at both the Dibbles and Lectura. So again, we expect Lectura to be stronger. That is their first language for our students in our dual language program. But we want to see as we move across the year, the percent showing proficiency in English alongside their Spanish. Let's maintain that Spanish and add to their English proficiency. We expect to see that grow as we move from middle to end of year. Questions about K2?
No questions, but just a comment. It seems to me that we would love to put that in marketing material for parents that are debating about pre-K to show them, hey, HEB is the way to go. Just a thought.
Yeah, I loved that I got to bring both the pre-K data and then throw in some pre-K data. We have our early literacy team here tonight as well, so I just get to report the great things happening.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next is 12.01, an overview of School First financial rating system, and we have Dobie Williams and Stephen Jones, or Stephen Jones.
Okay, so School First is the financial integrity rating system of Texas. It's a rating that's assigned by TEA. They use financial data from 23-24, so a little bit older data at this point. This is the same data that was presented back last November and January as well. It's based on 21 different indicators. The first 4 indicators are considered critical indicators. If you fail any of these 4, you get a substandard achievement or failing rating. There's several ratings that are considered ceiling indicators. On any of these, if you don't pass those ratings, there's a maximum score that you can reach. And we'll go through each of those as we go. And we'll start with indicator number 1. It's, did you have a timely filing of your financial report? And that, for us, that deadline is January 28th. The report was approved by the board on January 23rd and was submitted through our accounting department on January 23rd. The next one is, did you receive an unmodified opinion from independent auditors? And the answer was yes there, so we passed that indicator. Indicator number 3 is, did you default on any of your school bonds? Did you not pay them? We've never defaulted on a bond payment. Indicator number 4 is, did you make timely payments to all the different government agencies that we have to pay? This includes TRS, Texas Workforce Commission, the IRS, and as usual, all of our payments were on time here. Okay, the remaining indicators have either all have scores. Some of them are for 5 points, some of them are for 10 points. So indicator number 5 is one of those ceiling indicators. It used to be a critical indicator. Basically wants to know if you have a negative or a positive net position. So anything greater than 0 gets you passing here. We had $412 million in our net position. Okay, indicator number 6 is just to check your change in fund balance. It looks to see if your fund balance has changed over 3 years, if it's decreased by more than 25%. We've actually had an increase over that time of about 11.75%, so 101 days of assigned and unassigned fund balance. Indicator number 7 is checking how much cash you have on hand. Anything greater than 90 days, you receive the full 10 points for. We had 314 days of cash on hand, so well in excess of the 90 days required for 10 points. Indicator number 8 is looking at your current assets to current liabilities ratio. Anything greater than 3.0 gets you maximum points here. As of 8/31/24, we had a ratio of 14.7723, so we got the maximum number of points there. Indicator number 9 is, do your revenues exceed your expenditures? This one can be passed either by having more revenue than expenditures or also by having fund balance to cover that difference if you need to. And for that year, we did exceed revenues by expenditures by 5.22%, so got the full points there. Indicator number 10 is being reworked. It's been being reworked for several years now, and they did not score it. Indicator number 11, this is one of the ones that we brought up last year with the sale of the bonds, that it was going to affect us a little bit on points. With the sale of bonds, our asset ratio went to 0.6448, which actually only gets 8 points on there. And this one, for several years, will stay this way or maybe drift down into the 6 points once we sell the additional bonds, but shouldn't go any further than that. Indicator number 12 is another one being affected by the sale of bonds. It's the debt to property value ratio. As property values increase and our debts go down, this one will improve a little bit. So we currently have a ratio of 4.2464, which falls in between that 4 and 7, so we get 8 points here as well. The administrative cost ratio is looking at your cost of administration. So on this one, the state for a district of our size expects us to be at 0.855% or lower. We're at 0.0694, so well below that and get the full 10 points. Indicator number 14, basically looking at, did you have a large decline in your student to staff ratio? This is basically looking to see if you're losing enrollment, are you also adjusting your staff to adjust with that? And we've actually had a decrease in our student to staff ratio of 4.21% over that time, so well within the range. Indicator number 15 looks at our projected, what we submit every couple of years for pupil projections, just making sure that we're sticking close to what we say. And for this year, we were actually within 0.07% of our actual ADA, so we got the full points there. Indicator number 16 is looking at your PEIMS data versus your annual financial report, just making sure that in the two different submissions, you're very close. They expect you to be within 3% of that. We had it within $374 on a $215 million submission, so well within the 3%. Indicator number 17 is looking at, are your financial reports free of any instance of material weakness? We passed that one. Indicator number 18 looks at, did your independent auditor indicate the annual financial report was free of any instances of material noncompliance for your grants, your contracts, federal funds, all of that? Got the full points there. Indicator number 19 is just, did we post everything that we're supposed to on our website? We get 5 points if we do, so yes on that one. Indicator number 20, did we discuss any changes that would drastically affect our budget within 120 days of adopting the budget? All those were passed, so we got the full points there. And then indicator number 21 is, did we receive an adjusted repayment schedule? Basically, can you not pay your, back to the state if you had to pay them back? And we passed that one. So all those points add up. We received a 96 out of 100, so well within the range of 90 to 100 for a superior rating. Okay, anybody have any questions?
So 96 seems like a pretty good score.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us some kind of idea, rough estimate of how that compares to other districts?
It really depends. I mean, we've always had 100 in the past. This was the first time we've lost this many points. It was just because of our debt sales. Makes it a little tougher on there. Most districts range in that 90 to 100. There's some, especially if they miss one of those first 4 indicators, that'll push to failing pretty frequently, but that's the most common thing to really knock you down.
Anybody else? Okay. So, I need to declare this public meeting now open to hear comments from the public concerning the report presented on School First, Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. Is there anyone here that has anything to say about this report? With no further discussion, I close this public meeting. But not the rest of this meeting. So we go to action items. And there was nothing removed, so we go to 13.02, approval of Midwest International Band and Orchestra Conference trip payment.
Ms. Cole, Dr. Harrington, members of the board, it's good to be back here and report things, especially as they involve our students in the various competitions and performances. The first one here is the Midwest International Band and Orchestra Conference that Trinity percussion group, and Central Junior High's full orchestra will be participating in Chicago in December. So it'll be nice and warm for them to perform. And so the estimated cost for this is just over $142,000. We're asking for authorization to spend up to $150,000 for any unexpected expenses or costs related to this.
Any questions or comments? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve payment not to exceed $150,000 for this trip to perform America for Trinity High School percussion and Central Junior High full orchestra participation in the Midwest International Band and Orchestra Conference as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve payment not to exceed $150,000 for this trip to perform America for Trinity High School percussion and Central Junior High full orchestra participation in the Midwest International Band and Orchestra Conference. Please vote. That motion passes. We go to 13.03, which is consider approval of possible band competition travel costs.
And as Dr. Harrington announced earlier, both bands will be participating in marching contest on Saturday. So pending the results of that, we may send two bands, hope to send two bands to San Antonio to participate in the state contest. Travel costs for those are identified in your agenda item. We're asking for approval of up to $210,000 to cover the cost. So both of these items were budgeted items through the VPA's budget.
Comments or questions? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the authorization to spend the amount not to exceed $210,000 for travel cost for LD Bell High School and Trinity High School to participate in state UIL marching competition as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve authorization to spend an amount not to exceed $210,000 for travel costs for LD Bell High School and Trinity High School to participate in the state UIL marching competition. Please vote. That motion passes, and we hope they both get there. 13.04 is consider approval of agreement review of early college nursing shared services agreement. Dr. Johnson.
Yes, so this is a unique opportunity to share our nurse with Birdville ISD and share the cost of that, and they would recoup us. We would be able to recoup 50% of that staffing unit that's already on our staffing table.
Questions or comments? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the shared service agreement between HEB ISD and Birdville ISD for the Collegiate Academy nursing position as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the shared services agreement between HEB ISD and Birdville ISD for Collegiate Academy nursing position as presented. Please vote. That motion passes. 13.05 is consideration of approval for secondary school resource officers interlocal agreement.
This is an increase to $150,000 a year, which includes the cost of salary, training, and vehicle upkeep and police equipment for our officers.
Questions or comments? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the secondary school resource officer interlocal agreement as presented.
There's a motion and a second to approve the secondary school resource officer interlocal agreement. Please vote. That motion passes. 13.06 is consider approval of revisions to board policy CFB local.
So CFB local, the policy we're bringing to you is for one change, and that is to adjust the threshold for fixed assets from $5,000 to $10,000 per item. Do you have any questions?
Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the revisions to board policy CFB local as submitted.
There's a motion and a second to approve the revisions to board policy CFB local. Please vote. And that motion passes. That takes us to other business. Is there a board member that would like to request an item to be placed on a future board agenda? Okay, 14.02 is consider approval of the 2025 Texas Federal Advocacy Conference. This is a conference held by TASB, giving board members, trustees, the opportunity to advocate on a federal level, which, as we know, is very, very important right now. That conference is taking place February 2nd and 3rd in Washington, D.C. It is customary and part of our board operating procedures that we will send up to 2 board members to that conference. So I will also mention that having been served on the TASB Legislative Committee, I and others on that committee made a recommendation that going forward, this conference only be held every other year in non-Texas legislative years, which would be this year. So then next year, it won't take place, and it'll take place the year after that. I have not had a lot of conversations with you guys over who would like to attend this, but I know that it's something that I enjoy attending and have experience attending. Are there other board members that would be interested in attending?
I would be interested if no other board members are interested.
So it's been typical of this board that we send an experienced board member along with a new board member when a new board member is interested in attending. Is there anyone else that would like to attend? Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board send Julie Cole and Dr. John McGahn to the 2025 Texas Federal Advocacy Conference in Washington, D.C.
Second. There's a motion and a second to send Julie Cole and Dr. John McGahn to the 2025 Texas Federal Advocacy Conference in Washington, D.C. Please vote. That motion passes. We do not need a second closed session. So I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, we didn't jinx it. We didn't.